Good evening, folks. This is Deb. So let's start out by getting a couple of things straight. Okay. First of all, regardless of the fact that Donald Trump's name is on a ballot, he is not a legitimate candidate for the presidency. Okay. That's number one. Number two, Elon Musk is not a journalist. He's the Joseph Goebbels of social media. He's a propagandist and a liar, by the way. And number three, X, or Twitter, as some of us prefer, is not a journalistic outlet. It is a social media site which Elon Musk paid $44 billion for and is now valued at $12.5 billion. So anyone considering Elon Musk a genius might want to rethink all of that. But nevertheless, what we had, I believe it might have been Monday night. I don't know whatever night it was, because I refuse to give either of those guys a platform. What we had was essentially a lie fest between two bloated fascist white supremacists. That's really what it boiled down to. And, we're talking about a 40-minute delay to get this thing started. And Elon Musk, of course, used the excuse that there were so many people waiting to get into this, to hear this great stream, that it simply broke Twitter. Well, that was a lie, okay? I believe there were maybe 1 million people listening in, maybe. And the reality is that neither Elon Musk nor whoever is working with him at X can figure out how to do an audio stream, because that's essentially all it was. I think I know teenagers who can do it, but Elon Musk somehow couldn't pull that off. So let's talk about this little lie fest, because essentially Donald Trump is positioning all of these things he's doing as meeting the media, talking to the media, answering their questions. None of these are media events. None of them. He's been holed up at Mar-a-Lago for weeks, okay? His Mar-a-Lago press conference was a joke. We've already covered that. This is a joke. He sits at Mar-a-Lago behind a computer screen. He's not meeting the media. He's talking to a buddy here, a guy who will basically feed him the lies, and he will feed lies back to his buddy, and they will swear on each other's lies. This is not meeting the press at all in any way, manner, shape, or form. And now we find out that he's holding a news conference at his Bedminster golf course tomorrow, which will not be a meet the press kind of thing. Donald Trump is great for pointing the finger, accusing Kamala Harris of being afraid or incompetent and not able to deal with the media. That's a lie, okay? She'll deal with the media on her terms, not on Donald Trump's terms. Okay? But let's talk about some of the stuff that was passed around between these two idiots the other night. I can't figure out which one is more stupid. It's kind of a tie here, all right? They are truly two of the most dumb, ignorant men on the planet. So we're going to start out with one from actually, it's both of them. I mean, Trump said it first, and Elon Musk, of course, just parrots everything Trump says. So basically, Trump made the statement that Tim Walz, and we'll go back to this, Tampon Tim, as they like to call him on the right, and he will wear that proudly, he said, was putting tampons and sanitary napkins in boys' bathrooms at school. So let's get something straight here. The law that Tim Walz signed in did not specify where those menstrual products go. Basically, the law stipulated that they needed to go, the school districts needed to develop a plan to make sure they were available in areas of the school so that people who menstruate can have access to them. That's really what the law says. There was never anything in the law that said it had to go in a boys' room. Now, the law was written to be trans inclusive, as it should be. Okay? But it did not specify where it goes. And actually, the law benefits menstruating girls 100%. Because in fact, in America, 1 in 4 girls is what they call period poor. They can't afford the sanitary products required during their cycle. So let's dispel that lie, okay? Here's another one. Donald Trump, our crime rate is going through the roof. Let's get something straight. Both violent crime and property crime dropped significantly in 2023 and in the first quarter of 2024. So let's find out where Donald Trump is getting his numbers. I'm sure he won't be able to provide them to you because he just makes shit up. Here's another lie. He's talking about now about what's more concerning to him. Global warming or, say, nuclear war. And he thinks nuclear war should be a bigger concern because, as he stated, quote, the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch over the next 400 years, end quote. Well, that's quite inaccurate because actually right now, the sea level is rising more per year than the 1/8 of an inch every single year. So it's not going to rise 1/8 of an inch over a 400-year period like Donald Trump states. It's already rising more than that each year. Here's another one we're going to talk about. The notion that Kamala Harris was designated as the border czar by Joe Biden and has failed at that. Let's get a couple of things straight here. The man in charge of the border is Alejandro Mayorkas. Now, I am thinking that Donald Trump and the Republicans should know that since they impeached him in the House because he was doing such a bad job. But yet, because it's politically expedient now that Kamala Harris is the Democratic Party nominee for the presidency, that we blame the border on her. She had one assignment from Joe Biden, and that was to work with three countries, El Salvador, Guatemala, and the Honduras, to find out the cause of people in those areas wanting to migrate to the United States. She had one assignment, which was to be a diplomat to determine why that was happening, to see what we could do to alleviate a problem. That was her assignment. She was never made the border czar. So once again, let me just close by saying this. I'm not giving either of these idiots too much press time, but some stuff just can't be ignored, okay? And this kind of shit can't be ignored. Donald Trump is not meeting with the news media. All right? If you're falling for that, then you're being misled. All right? He's not meeting with the news media. And when he does meet with the news media, he does not answer questions. All you have to do is watch the video from the interview with the black journalists. Didn't answer one question. He answers questions with questions. And then he completely disintegrates into word salad. So I have no doubt that Kamala Harris will be meeting with the media, and I can promise you she will answer their questions. But the notion that Donald Trump is doing either of those things is flat out fantasy island. I'll talk to you all later.